Այս պահին ես լսողության ֆիզիոլոգիայի եւ ախտաբանության ինստիտուտում եմ։ Սա Լեհաստանի գիտական կազմակերպություններից մեկն է, որը ներառված է Գիտահետազոտական ինստիտուտների գլխավոր խորհրդում։ Գլխավոր խորհուրդը Լեհական կառույց է, որը միավորում է Լեհաստանի գիտական ինստիտուտները եւ ներկայացնում դրանց շահերը Լեհաստանի կառավարությանը։ Այստեղ ես հանդիպել եմ գլխավոր խորհրդի գրասենյակի ղեկավարի պրոֆեսոր Լեժեկ Ռաֆալսկու հետ, որը ներկայացրել է խորհրդի պատմությունը, պատմել թե ինչպես է խորհուրդը համագործակցում Լեհաստանի կառավարության հետ, մենք նաև խոսել ենք Հայաստանի բարձրագույն կրթության եւ գիտության ոլորտում սպասվող փոփոխություններից։ Առաջարկում եմ մեր զրույցի մանրամասները դիտել հարցազրույցում։
These are documents, meeting. This is 20 years.
Professor Rafalski, thank you for this opportunity, and it's a pleasure to meet you here in Warsaw. The main Council of Research Institute combines more than 90 scientific organizations, scientific institutions in Poland, and it represents the interest of these organizations into Polish government.
Yes.
In Armenia, we don't have...
And to parliament.
Of course. In Armenia, we don't have such a council or agency which represent the interest of scientific organizations. That's why it's very interesting to hear about the council, how it was formed, how does it operate, and also how does it cooperate with the government, and what's the role of the council in bridging scientific organizations and the Polish government.
The council was established the first time in 1992 because the law was changed and it was possible to establish. The council is composed of 31 persons which are elected by the research council of every institute. And then during forum it is elected the chairman, and a little later is elected such presidium. Cadency lasts 3 years only, but there is no limitation to be a chairman 2 or 3 times. It is possible to be many times. So, cooperation with the government depends on government. In the history, we had a different cooperation. At the beginning, there was rather good democratic cooperation, but the number of institutes, research units was too large. Mm-hmm. They were sometimes smaller and greater, and it started the process of consolidation, restructurization, which lasted about 6-7 years. Mm-hmm. Later, in 2008, we started together with Madame Barbara Kudrycka to prepare new law on institute. It was, in my opinion, very good, very modern in Europe law. It was accepted by the parliament in 2010. Mm-hmm. Thanks to this, during next 6 years, employment at the institute was increased from 24,000 people up to 40. It was significant situation. Then cooperation in this time was excellent. Later, not, because in 2016 changed government, and they changed also the law.
Mm-hmm. In 2018, right?
Yes. It was cancelled the process of election of director. I mean competition, cadency, etc., and started the process of destabilization of the institute. Now we return with new minister Dariusz Wieczorek to return law situation from before the 2016.
Am I right that the council is public organization?
Yes, it is
Mm-hmm.
formally public. Mm-hmm. It is included in the law. Mm-hmm. We are working on the law. There is special article on the institute representation. Mm-hmm.
And does the council get its funding from the government, or there are other sources?
Every institute pays for the office. It depends on employment. It is about 20 zlotys for every employed person, and it is budget of about 500,000 zlotys every year. It is enough for such costs which are necessary to cooperate in height of the office.
the Council represents its expert opinions about the Polish government's innovation policy. I mean, legislative initiatives, maybe reforms, some changes. How does the Council cooperate with specific ministries, and does the government follow your opinions, your advices while developing its innovative policy?
The amazing partner for us is this Ministry of Higher Education and Science, because we are evaluating, for example, and we gave opinion on different documents which are prepared by this minister. I mean the law, the different smaller than law documents. Sometimes where, for example, strategy for science is prepared, we also have evaluation and opinion. In a case of different other ministers, also institutes are subordinated by different ministers. Infrastructure, healthy, agriculture. We every year evaluate about 30-40 different documents. Sometimes it was possible to do expertise for the Ministry of Regional Development. It was problem of taxes in a case of research works, which were financed by European Union.
And does the government follow this opinion? I mean,
sometimes, yes. It depends on government. During last 8 years, it was rather difficult because this opinion were not considered. But I observe now it is better, and the best time it was before 2008, 2016. We have very good cooperation with Ministry of Science, and the law which I presented, it was defined by cooperation. We have great influence on this law.
The previous law on science and higher education. Yes. Before 2024, Poland had the Ministry of Science and Education. Then it split it into the Ministry of National Education and the Ministry of Science and Higher Education. First of all, how would you evaluate this transformation?
Earlier, generally it was divided into higher education and science and education smaller. Only during last 5 or 6 years it changed. It was too great ministry, in my opinion. I cooperate, of course, with this ministry, but there are too many different problems for one minister. It is better to divide in smaller because there's different problems.
And the new minister started meetings with the academic community, with the representatives of universities, scientific organizations, increased research and development funding, and also announced about reforms, I mean legislative initiatives. Did you meet with the minister or other representatives of the ministry, discussed these new reforms, and how do you evaluate these new processes?
I personally have one meeting in our parliament. It was a discussion of the main problem to solve. It was in March. Professor Skarżyński, as a chairman, he met Mr. Dariusz Wieczorek personally.
And what are the main challenges Polish science faces, and there is a need to solve these problems for the science, for the higher education maybe?
I think challenges were always. But we have now a new political situation, and we would like to have a return to the law which was before 2016. It is very important for our institutes. Because during this time the number of employed was reduced because of the stabilization process. And we should also discuss about Łukasiewicz network. And it is necessary to discuss was it positive, negative, what to change with this Łukasiewicz, because it is one of the greatest networks in Europe. But we observed that they were established to create and to fill strategic project, but there was no strategic project in this time because there was shortage of money.
Łukasiewicz network, to make clear to our audience, is a network which combines scientific organizations which are concentrated on research and development activities and have a close relationship with business. And what are the main challenges, not only for Łukasiewicz network, but also for Polish science? I mean, funding, maybe structural, maybe legislative. And of course, how do you evaluate the conversation with new Polish government according these issues?
The basic issue is still funding. It is also a problem that our high schools are very busy in education. And research, they are for them only something which is necessary to add. Sometimes it is necessary. There is no basic aim.
But how do you evaluate the cooperation of universities, I mean higher education institutions and scientific organizations of Poland?
Yes, I can say about cooperation between institutes and high schools rather positively. There are very often personal contacts because professors and scientists from research institute, they are invited for the lectures to the universities for studies or sometimes once per year, and there are good contacts.
You mentioned that there is a need to return to the 2010 law.
2016.
2016 law. What are the advantages of this law so that you want to return this law? What are the disadvantages of the new law, I mean 2018 law?
As I present you, there was process of destabilization. I mean, minister who subordinated institute then could change director every day.
They assigned the director, the government assigned the director.
We should return because this cadency and competition process, it was selection. Because sometimes started 3-4 persons, and it was selected the best professor or scientist or researcher who was good. Now minister can change everyday director if he wants. And for example, in few institutes during last 3-4 years, directors were changed 6-7 times. It was destabilization process. So we should return to this situation because very good. And it is possibilities, I think, because minister during this meeting in parliament was asked about it and he generally accepted this way.
You mentioned about the number of scientific organizations and researcher staff. Is there a decrease of scientific organizations and research staff in Poland during last years?
The number of institutes decreased, but it is no problem. And number of workers, it is on the same level. But we would like to have increasing, of course, to develop our institute like in 2010, 2016. This is not going now.
In Poland, besides the research institutes and the Polish Academy of Sciences, there are a lot of scientific organizations. And
yes, representation also, yes.
Yeah, there are specialized scientific organizations which cooperate with the government, sometimes with local authorities, and solve specific research issues related to the medicine, road construction, agriculture, and other fields.
Yes, they work.
And what is the importance of having public scientific organizations, not only scientific units or maybe institutes inside the universities, but also public organizations which will be specialized, like the Institute of Physiology and Pathology of Hearing. We are right now in the clinics of this institute. What's the importance of such organizations?
Important is to have independence, a little independence. And to have influence on what is going in this institute. Because our institutes are independent. I don't know what is in your country, and this independence is real. So director has many possibilities. But because of this not good law, he can be fired, of course.
You mentioned about the Łukasiewicz network, and the scientific organizations of this network have close relationship with business.
Yes.
Why there is a need of cooperation between scientific organizations and private sector business, I mean technology transfer or the funding of research activities from the private sector?
Different groups. I think the first is common projects. When enterprise should solve something, it can do together with institute, and not only Łukasiewicz, because also we have different institutes not included in Łukasiewicz, which are technical. And that is first, common projects to solve. This project sometimes can be financed by National Center of Research and Development. It is very good because the firm pays only part of these costs. The second, it is transfer, of course. The third, it is the trainings, because the different firms would like to have better staff. And sometimes they pay institutes for training to have good information, good scientific information, technical information, etc. There's three groups.
I know that the Council represents its expert opinion about government decisions in science and research. And imagine a situation when Polish government initiated reform and decided to merge Polish public universities and to integrate scientific organizations into them. What would be the expert opinion of the main Council of Research Institutes about such kind of reform?
I remember such one proposal in the past, when technical university, one of the department, would like include Institute of Aviation. And Institute answered, I can include you. Because it was stronger than this department. It is not a good idea, in my opinion.
Why?
Institutes in Poland have different aim. The first, it is research. And implementation, spreading information. Technical universities University General is education, the first. I think that when this institute would be included in technical universities or universities, that would be reduced their significance generally. So in our country there is no such proposal now. Rather to do something with Polish Academy of Science to reform.
So the government proposed to integrate the institutes of the academy into universities. Were there such?
It is formal possibility in this law, but it didn't happen until now. Academy of Science, this is basic research. Our institute is basic and mainly applied research. So this composition would be not good. Every unit has own possibilities and own aims to do in our country.
And I hope that both in Armenia and Poland, the conversation and cooperation between government and the academic community will be positive.
I think now it is a new opening, I can say, new government, and we try to discuss what to change more positively for our institutes.
Thank you very much for this opportunity and for your insights.